Hello, my name's Sadie and I'm the community developer here at Untold Tales. Today we have a real treat for indie fans everywhere, as I am happy to announce that I will be chatting with Chris and Nicholas Bischoff, the brilliant brothers behind the Brotherhood games, the developers of Beautiful Desolation. This video will be the first part of a two-part interview with the brains behind the Brotherhood. Part 1 will be focused on getting to know Chris and Nicholas, and their inspirations as developers. In part 2, we'll be taking a look at the studio of the Brotherhood games and exploring what went into making Beautiful Desolation. Now, without further ado, I would like to introduce you to Nick and Chris Bischoff. And hello guys, how are you doing?
Hi, good to see you.
Yeah, see, now thanks to COVID, obviously you can see we are over webcams today, so if the quality is not the greatest, you'll just have to use your imagination and pretend we're in a beautiful studio somewhere with lighting and everything. Have you done a lot of these sort of interviews and stuff over Skype since COVID happened?
No, we've done all sorts of, obviously we're not in we're literally in the tip of Africa, so we don't have much studio appearances. It's all happened over the last few years over video conferencing.
I didn't think about that actually. Yeah, the travel aspect alone must be quite a big one. Have you been able to go to like any of the events, sort of like E3 and stuff like that over the years, or because of the travel, it's always been an issue?
No, I mean we went to GDC a couple of times, but That's literally on the other side of the world.
Yeah,
it's a painful aeroplane flight, and then another painful aeroplane flight. There are a couple of conferences that they've held in South Africa. We actually had Comic-Con that was supposed to come here that got cancelled because of apparently some worldwide thing. We are a little bit isolated from the rest of the world in terms of conferences, and it's very expensive from South Africa.
So what we're going to do today is just have a bit of a chat about you guys as gamers, and then later on we're going to look at Beautiful Desolation itself, which I'm really excited about. I've told the guys I personally absolutely love this game. It's right up my street. And I think lots of you are going to have the best time with this. So this is why we wanted to do this, to kind of get a bit from the horse's mouth, as they do say. Not saying you're horses, but you know, it's. So let's get to know you guys. So obviously, with COVID, as we've mentioned, things have been quite different over the past year. I'm guessing you guys were able to still work together because you're in a bubble, or have you had to separate as well and work from your own homes separately?
Work-wise, it's definitely meant less face-to-face meetings, especially at the beginning of the pandemic. South Africa, like the rest of the world, we had a serious lockdown where we weren't allowed to leave the house and all that sort of thing. So, we've been doing a lot more video conferencing. So I think, we've made it work.
You don't have a choice. Also because we're sort of like the company owners, so if we don't work, we don't get money. We sort of like had to adapt the way that we actually work together. I think it's been a very difficult thing, sort of just emotionally, to actually not have that one-on-one connection that we were so used to.
I bet.
Such a long time. I mean, we've sort of evolved the way that we've actually worked. And I think we've been quite a good group now with our sort of working style with each other.
I mean, I think indie developers are definitely more resilient to the pandemic. We're used to working from home. We've always had a home office that we both worked out of. So now it's just Chris set up his home office at his house. I have it at my place, and we video conference all day. So we still have that sort of connection.
That's nice.
Together. And it's actually quite nice. A lot of sort of like new technologies over the last 6 months and new ways to actually do digital meetings and things have sprung up. Obviously, people responding to the fact that some people are working from home. So it's actually of all the ways to sort of like slide into doing this kind of work. This was kind of one of the better ways.
We do a lot of collaboration documents on Google Docs and that sort of thing, which before, obviously we were in the same office, so you just print off a form or both sit in front of a computer and sort of we've been able to take advantage of those various technologies. So yeah, it's been difficult, but we're managing.
Yeah. It's been an adjustment.
Yeah,
we have adjusted.
Speaking of lockdown, many people have used this time to go back and look through their backlog as gamers. Personally, mine is huge, and I've gone back into it and managed to play a few titles that I probably never would have got round to playing had we not had this extra time. Is there anything that you went back and played that's been in the pile for a while?
I haven't really gone back into a backlog of games that I haven't played, but what I have done is actually gone and replayed a lot of my sort of favorites and
that's nice.
Games. Yeah, like I 100%ed Dead Space 1 and 2 over December. And then I went through Bioshock 1 and 2 as well, sort of like back to back in one massive mammoth gaming session. And next on my list is doing Alien Isolation. I want to do like I
couldn't do that.
One day and do a complete playthrough from beginning to end. And then I've also been reading a lot. So, during sort of development, I didn't really have, of Desolation, I didn't have a lot of spare time. And I had a big pile of books that I was trying to actually get through. And I've definitely used the bit of freedom that I have now to go through. I'm reading a lot of Peter Watts. A lot of his stuff now is very analogous to the work that we're actually doing, which has been quite good. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, me myself, to be honest, after being in game development for so long, I don't really enjoy games. It's a strange phenomenon.
Oh no!
Game developers, because when you're playing, you're constantly trying to take it apart. You're constantly trying to think about, well, how did they do that? How would I have done that sort of thing? So I think I do play a lot of games, but I don't. It's a strange thing. So if I really do enjoy it, then it's fantastic. Then it must be really good. Like The Last of Us, I loved it.
Grand Theft Auto.
The Grand Theft Auto, I loved it. So if it really if I take a shine to it, it means it's really well done. But I think personally, I'm really enjoying system-based games now. So Factorio is unbelievable. RimWorld, that kind of thing. That's really where my headspace is at the moment. Stardew Valley. I really enjoy the sort of casual things. Just kind of sit down.
Dipping in and out of it, sort of way.
Yeah. And then I don't have too much time to sit and play games. As I said, I've got a little kiddo, so we sort of doing a lot of games, collaborative games together. We just play silly little games, TV games on the Apple TV together. And that's it's a nice change from sitting there at your desk and sort of doing it by yourself. So
yeah, I bet that's cute. That's what's her favourite game then? It can be a TV one.
Mortal Kombat. No.
I played the original GTA when I was a kid, and I definitely shouldn't have done that.
Actually, like on the Apple TV, there's a whole bunch of I don't know the name. It's there's a shark game where you play as a shark and you have to eat people and eat points and eat fish and that sort of thing. Loves that. Little racing games. I'm not sort of introducing you into anything too complicated yet.
Yeah.
But we'll get into the more complicated stuff soon. So yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Well, our generation is gonna have kids that will all be gamers.
Yeah.
So like the next generation is just everyone's gonna be a gamer. Everyone.
Yeah.
It's gonna be amazing. But then also we'll be like old grannies and granddads gaming still and getting the next generation consoles. It's gonna be the best.
all the time it's full of Smash Brothers.
Yeah. There'll just be tournaments in old people homes. That's amazing. I love that idea. So while we're talking about gaming yourself, what is your preferred way to play? Are you a console player, a PC player? Kind of what do you prefer?
I'm a PC gamer. I think I've always been a PC gamer. I did have a Wii a while ago, like a long time ago, where my idea was like, I'll get fit while playing computer games.
I think we all did that and no one ever did.
And then you have like the yoga mat pad that just sort of
the board
haunted you, and then your little like avatar just starts to look less and less like you as you just expand it out. I'm definitely I'm a PC gamer, and I do also play a lot of tabletop RPGs.
Cool.
So pen and paper RPGs like Dread and Mothership.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But I think now with Desolation coming out on the consoles, we'll have to to spring for a console and see what we can actually get.
Yeah, Xbox and then stuff on the TV, especially with the kid. But primarily, if a game comes out on a Mac, then I get it because I develop on a Mac. So we have machines that are Windows based, but it's a little bit painful to fire them up. So if it's Mac based, I generally get it and play it.
I don't think I've ever had anyone answer a Mac before. I think you're the first person to ever say that, which is interesting.
The gaming portfolio on the Mac is absolutely terrible, but
you get 6 games that you can choose.
Yeah, but the crazy thing is that we've been playing 3D games since Wolfenstein. Since the early 90s, we've been playing it, but I get terribly motion sick.
Oh no!
I can look at it for 20 minutes and then I'll have to take a little break. But I thoroughly enjoy 3D games on whatever platform. We love them.
We also, when we had our large office studio before we went sort of indie, we had a PlayStation where we would actually have tournaments with all the other artists.
That's awesome.
I would get soundly beaten in Mortal Kombat.
That's brilliant. They must be good lunch times that you used to have. So, going to the making of games then, is there a studio or an individual dev that you particularly admire, either together or separate ones for each of you?
Yeah, that's a hard question to ask because obviously there's so many talented people out there. I think personally, if I had to choose one, I would say Carmack is an incredible developer. We had the opportunity to see him speak live in San Francisco a couple of years ago, and that guy, he's just a machine. The way that he presents that's really good, and the technical knowledge that he has is unbelievable. And then sort of on the indie side, I would say Concerned Ape, who made Stardew Valley, and Chris Davis, who made The Escapist. They're really good game designers. And then just on the general side, I would say someone we both enjoy would be Paul and Fred, who made Star Control 2, which is my all favorite game. Yeah. So Chris.
I think Brian Fargo has been amazing. Just the support that he's actually given to Nick and I over the years.
That's nice.
And he's done everything from sort of battle chess, which I remember actually playing with my dad, and then of course all the way through to the Interplay stable of games. Yeah. I think maybe Casey Hudson, his work on Mass Effect, I think has just been unbelievable. I was actually, I sort of tweeted yesterday that I don't know why there's not a Star Trek style Mass Effect game, because this the world that he with Mass Effect, and of course just his work in general, BioWare has been incredible.
That would be, I want that now.
The minute you say it, it's well, of course they should actually.
Yeah, that would make so much sense.
Yeah, you go on Twitter, you just follow some of these developers. There's so many incredible people out there that are doing such amazing things. So yeah.
The last question in our sort of get to know you guys as gamers section is about which games inspired you most as creators. So whether you thought of a game as a kid and you saw this and it just was your spark moment to go into gaming, or something that inspires you now as creators in the industry.
We've been gamers since
Atari
and Nintendo days and that. But I think that one of the games that really sort of opened up my mind as something that was more than just a game was definitely the first and second Fallout games, specifically the first one, where it was sort of like this. It wasn't just a computer game; it was an entire world. It was a story. It was like reading an amazing novel. And that definitely sort of opened up my eyes as to what games could actually be.
That's awesome.
And then, and I think when StarCraft first came out, it came with this beautiful manual. And the manual was essentially, it was almost like a novel of this world. I remember actually reading it as though it was a novel. And I think that the world building that Blizzard managed to do with the first StarCraft game is absolutely incredible. Of course, afterwards, then I realized that it was essentially all based off of the sort of the Warhammer universe, which I'm very, very recently gotten into like the background lore of Warhammer and that. But yeah, I think that the first Fallout and the first StarCraft 4 world building was definitely two things that have been massively influential.
Yeah, I think, and then I mentioned earlier Star Control 2, you know, as Fred and Paul being fantastic developers. Star Control 2, I don't know if you played it?
No, I haven't, but my brother did, so I remember watching.
Yeah. I think that really was a fantastic game that told a fantastic space story. It's actually free. You can download it. The Earth-1 Masters, they released for free and remastered it on all various platforms and that, so you can grab it there. It's a fantastic game. Also, again, a great story, but also huge emphasis on world building, which I think those things kind of inspired us to do what we do now, you know, and I can see the connections as we go through. And then obviously all of the LucasArts and Sierra point-and-click adventure games were really influential as well.
Yeah, but Space Quest, The Dig, you know, Day of the Tentacle, all of the...
That's such a good game.
The sword games and, Day of the Tentacle is amazing.
Yeah.
The of course the Monkey Island games as well.
Yeah.
You know, I think back in the day, the adventure games were the games that you would get to show off how amazing your computer was.
Yeah.
Because you actually had 256 colors, and you know, it's incredible animation and the sound blaster. So I think that you know, those sort of things really had big influences on us.
They were also the ones that you would talk about on the playground because you figured something else that no one else had figured out yet, and you sort of run into the playground. I solved this, and this is how you solve this. You just didn't get that with others.
Those hint books that you had, where you would sort of get the red film that you would actually put it down and clues as to what was actually there. Yeah, and in South Africa, we didn't have access to the hint lines that you could actually phone because you couldn't really phone out internationally from South Africa at the point. So, and there was no internet. So you just had to figure it out yourself.
I do find that funny because, I used to be a teacher, and I remember kids looking up a walkthrough in a classroom, and I was talking to them about how we literally had to figure it out for ourselves because unless it was in the magazine that month, you weren't finding out how to do these things.
If you really want to be depressed, watch the speed runs on some of those early Sierra games. That people can finish them in 10 minutes if you know how to do it. We would spend 3 or 4 months on one game.
So, oh my gosh.
There was one puzzle in Space Quest 6, it's the homing beacon puzzle. And I remember the day I actually figured it out because I was in detention at school and I had the manual next to me and I sat there with the spreadsheet actually working out how to build the homing beacon puzzle.
That's amazing.
You don't experiences anymore with games, unfortunately.
Now you get nothing. You get nothing in there.
The big box,
I miss the big boxes.
Yeah, it was good.
Magazine. We used to go and scour we had this thing called I think it was called the Kilo Store, where basically you would buy international magazines by the kg. They were a few months old, and Chris and I had thousands of game magazines,
boxes and boxes full of them.
That's amazing.
We didn't have the internet was very slow, so you wanted to get a demo of a game or watch a video, you had to wait for the disc to actually come.
The floppy or a demo CD.
Yeah. Do you know, we were just talking about was it Heroes of Might and Magic 3? I think it was only something like 324 megabytes when it was first made. You just can't even picture that anymore, can you? When you get COD coming in 100 gig on, you know, it's just insane.
The game is actually coming out.
It's madness, absolute madness. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please give it a like and make sure that you follow all of our socials so that you don't miss out when part 2 goes live. And I hope you have a very wonderful day, whatever you get up to.